played earlier in the day, played in the outdoor stage, so we had a very good crowd, so we are very happy doing that. And we are doing a lot of promotion too.
And it was your first time at Hellfest, or
Actually, we played the ancestor of Hellfest in 2005. We played the Fury Fest, and we played the Hellfest in 2008 too.
and what are the main difference from them to now?
It's getting bigger and bigger, and my hair are shorter and shorter.
Okay, and Hellfest is right now a very big festival in a country that it's not very well known for being a heavy metal or a metal country. How do you explain this?
I don't know. I don't know because when I was younger, there was no festival like this in France, and I'm really happy that today French folks can stay in the country to see so many bands. So I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I think that Ben Barbeau, the organizer, the guy who really ran the Hellfest, did a wonderful job. He convinced some very important band to come at the time when the Hellfest was very smaller. Anyway, I remember that he really paid a lot to have Slayer in 2007, I think, and maybe that kind of event really attracted some of the bands in the next years.
And comparing to other festivals that begin in the same time, why do you think this one is really so big and the other ones faded?
I have no idea, as this festival is in the west of France. It's far from the borders of other countries, so there's most of the audience is made of French people. So I don't know. I really don't know.
How do you manage to have some success in a country like France?
French musical culture is made of hip hop and French chanson. So yes, rock music is not really famous, but big bands like Muse or I don't know the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they can really fill big venues, but the metal scene is very small. So we only have one big band that is successful outside of our borders. That is Gojira. I think maybe you know them. They toured with Metallica. And for the rest, we just managed to make a maximum of gigs, in France or in other countries. For our part, I don't know if you know the story of the band, as the band today does not exist anymore. We are actually touring to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our first album that was released in 2003, and the band split it up in 2009. So we are very lucky. We stayed friends as a band, but as you just told, it's very hard to be successful and very hard to play music in good conditions in that kind of culture, of musical culture in France.
So the reason for you to stop as the band was the monetary reason, or yeah?
Yeah, we were over 30, all of us. We all had kids, and we released 3 albums. We spent a lot of money in the band. We spent a lot of times. All our holidays was, spent touring in France and Europe. And after 3 albums this way, you cannot, go on losing money and go on, having a regular job that is not connected to music at all. And after that, you come to your house, you come back to home and work again on your guitar, on your computer. You have no time. So yes, we were all used, really used, and it was very hard to go on this way. And we finally start a bit fighting, and I said we should stop now. Maybe it won't happen. So if it doesn't happen, we should stop and stay friends. And that's what happened exactly.
So, how do you explain you're between countries that have, for instance, Spain or Germany have such a high success in as far as metal goes? How do you explain that such a gap in France?
First of all, hip hop is very important in France. We are the second country in the world after the United States for hip hop. So it means that most of the teenagers are familiar to this kind of music more than rock music. So when it when this kind of situation starts, it's hard to inverse the tendency. So I don't know. It's so cultural, and hip hop is sung in French. In France, we have some kind of policy from the government for years and years. They consider that in French we have a culture of exception. We are exceptional. That's the main idea of this. So we have to protect the culture. So the radios are not able to play more than 60% of non-French speaking songs. As rock music doesn't really fit with French vocals.
You think it wouldn't be possible to mix some?
It's just that rock music is it's English really fits that, and even if even German can fit to Rammstein, for example, because they're doing some they're doing a really German music. So German speaking is okay, but there's no. I can remember some bands in Spain, for example, Baron Rojo, who's really famous in Spain, but they never passed the borders because they were singing in Spanish. It's cultural.
Are you thinking about recording anything after this, or it's going to be like?
We're friends. We are all having a lot of pleasure to be together, to play like big shows in here. It's really wonderful. But we also live in countries really far from each other. We all all friends, exactly, and even preparing this show and the tour, because we're touring France in October, was really hard because we just can't see each other once in a month. So recording an album, composing an album, arranging an album, it needs a lot of work, and I think we won't be able to do that. And I don't want to do a bad album.
So you think there will be a day where with Hellfest and all that where metal is going to find its niche in the French market? Or?
You can never know. Absolutely, we can never know. Maybe next Hellfest will be less successful. You cannot be sure. And I don't know. Maybe if Gojira really opens the door and becomes listenable by the masses, maybe things will happen. We need some kind of that, a locomotive, a very big band that will be able to please my mother. That the main point, because we all enter the metal world listening to rock bands or hard rock bands, and then to get used to the sound, to the distortion of the guitar, and then you can be more open and realize that there are all many different styles of metal. And
so your opinion, as mine as well, is that in order to listen to heavy metal, sometimes you have to educate your ears. And
yes, it's complicated. You can't. There are some examples, like I was thinking to Rage Against the Machine, that is at a time a bit violent, because the guy is really screaming and also really listenable and understandable by the masses. So it's possible to do that, but for the moment no French bands really succeeded in that.
It's also a bit political, maybe that.
I don't know. When you see the poster of the Hellfest, you can see the sponsors, and they are mainstream sponsors, So it's starting. Something is really happening. Maybe it will stop. Maybe not. Maybe it will become something bigger. But it's starting. 10 years ago, it was not possible to imagine such a festival in France. Today, it's here. So you can try. You can hope.
So you've already told us that the gig was okay. Did you prepare something special for this Hellfest, or is it quite the same for the tour?
Actually, we invited our ex-drummer, the drummer recorded the album in 2003 and left the band in 2004, I invited him to sing on stage. So that was some kind of surprise, and for him it was a big challenge because he's not a professional singer. He's not really used. So starting for the first stage on such a big event with, I don't know, 5 or 6 thousand people was yes, but he was very happy.
So, well, thank you, and we hope the rest of the tour goes all right, and we hope that that situation we were talking about in France will change. Okay, thanks.